There are two things that I tell every client when we are opening a new account, and there are things that I recommend that you tell every client as well. I'm Matthew Jarvis, and I built a $2 million a year practice, and now I make videos like these to help advisors avoid some of the mistakes I made, including in this video, mistakes I used to make when opening accounts. Now, let's do a quick background. When you are opening a new account, especially for a new client, some part of them is nervous that you're the next Bernie Madoff, that they're making a mistake, and that in this process, they're going to lose their hard-earned life savings. And I say this because we need to understand how much trust is being placed in us, and we need to do everything we can to support that trust and to avoid as many pitfalls as we can that will sort of remind the client, oh no, I made this terrible mistake. So the first script that I use with every new account is I let the client know, I say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, XYZ company, wherever their money's at right now, sometimes they're going to forget whose money this is, and Mr. and Mrs. Client, it is your money. And so part of our job will be to track to make sure that every penny that's yours gets transferred over to your new account. Now, the way that we're going to do this is we're going to complete some paperwork. We might have to complete it a second time. We might have to complete it a third time because sometimes these companies lose the paperwork or do other kind of shenanigans in order to hold on to your money. But no matter what it takes, each week my team will follow up with you and let you know where this is at, when you can expect the next action. And again, we will keep tracking this until every penny comes over. Notice a couple of things, my friends. I have set the stage that mistakes will happen, that this will get delayed. Otherwise, the client might think it's as easy as writing a check, that all I do is sign this form and the money magically moves. Like, you may know that sometimes this takes extra forms. You may know that they might want it notarized, or that they won't accept the form, or they'll sit on it, or they won't transfer over the entire account. Whatever it is, you know these things, but you need to warn the client of them, right? Let them know. And it's nice to kind of point the proverbial gun at the other companies saying, hey, sometimes they forget whose money this is. That's an expression that people get. So sometimes they forget whose money this is, but great news, we're going to stay on top of this every single week until every penny has transferred. The second script that I use, and I use this for new clients and existing clients, really anytime we're making a change to investments, and that is Mr. and Mrs. Client, Murphy's Law is that as soon as we transfer these accounts, the markets will go down. Not because you transfer the accounts, just because the markets go down. And when that happens, it'll be tempting to think, oh no, if only I hadn't moved my accounts, they wouldn't have gone down in value. Now, I assure you that while your life savings is very important, as is mine, neither of us have a big enough life savings to make the market move. In other words, the market moved because it's simply Murphy's Law. Now, the great news is the market will come back, and this is money that we're not going to need for some time, but we do need to be prepared that it will dip. Now, my friends, I use this same script when we're planning for retirement. I say, hey, Murphy's Law of retirement is as soon as you announce your retirement, the markets are going to go down dramatically. I'll also use a version of this. Murphy's Law for investments is that when you need the money, the markets will be down, and the more you need the money, the further down they will be. These sort of little anecdotes, these short sayings resonate with clients. I then have them bring it up with me. So let's use the example of, hey, when you transfer the account, Murphy's Law is that the markets will go down. Let's say the markets do in fact go down. The client says, oh, Matthew, you're such a smart guy. You told us the markets would probably go down. And they did, just like you said. So what's crazy about this, my advisor friends, is this situation's gone from I transferred my accounts and they went down in value. What a bum you are, to, oh, Matthew, you're such a smart guy. Right now, I didn't predict that the markets will go down. I said, hey, Murphy's Law is that they will go down. Now, what happens if the markets don't go down? What happens if they transfer their accounts and the markets go up? Nothing happens. This is the beautiful thing. It's like a free hedge. I've never had a prospect or a client come back to me and say, Matthew, you told me that Murphy's Law was that I transferred the accounts, the markets would go down, and they didn't go down. I've never had that happen. I've had, as I mentioned earlier, the markets go down and they say, oh, it's just like you told me. Or the markets go up and they just don't care that they've gone up. And so those couple of scripts, right? This idea that, hey, these companies are going to forget whose money it is, it's yours. Or, hey, Murphy's Law is that the markets are going to go down. These little anecdotes help people remember that. I also use that these companies will forget whose money it is anytime we need to call in. If we need to call in to request paperwork or initiate a rollover, I will, again, before we dial it up, I'll let the client know, hey, listen, sometimes these companies forget whose money it is, and they're going to try to talk you into leaving your money with them. When that happens, you'll just want to say, you know what, I want an advisor who can take care of everything and not just a call center. Thank you so much. Now, Not every time will the company try to talk them out of it, just like not every time will the rollover get messed up or the markets will go down. But that I set the stage empowers the client. So if that does happen, they say, oh, Matthew told me this would happen. See, clients don't expect you to be perfect and they don't expect the market to go up every day, but you need to manage those expectations. So if you found these scripts helpful, there are plenty more in my book, Delivering Massive Value. And until next time, happy planning.